Hi, I'm Chris McSwain. Welcome to today's Where the Locals Go. I have the great pleasure of introducing you to Cyndy and Charles, and they're going to tell you all about the Gay Fish Company, starting with how long it's been in business. So, Charles, why don't you start us off? And if you need to refer to anything behind us, please do for all of the listeners. It's a great story, and I can't wait for you to understand why everybody comes to Gay Fish Company. Okay, Charles, walk us through all the wall of these pictures. Tell us the story.
All right. This is where he started out, and that is right over where that the kayak dock is. And then this is the first building that he had, and that's right there by the highway. And then this was in our heyday. We had 21 boats tying up in here at one time. And this is her brother, my son, when he came back home from Desert Storm, from there down to the medals that he won. This is myself right here. We had pictures to go to. I didn't know it for several years. I wondered why they took the pictures. We had orders to go to Vietnam, and then we got canceled. That's in our heyday, 21 boats. This is a close-up of the boats tied to the dock. That's my mother and father. He passed away about a year after that, and she was going into Alzheimer's, so she lasted a couple more. That's my granddaddy that brought us in from Georgia, and the government brought him here to cut timber off of Distant Island and up there on Ladies Island. And this is my great-grandfather in his Confederate uniform, getting ready to fight Sherman. And he went all the way to Virginia, and then he came back. He lived through it though. That's his tombstone. And the guy that found it for me, he said, I don't know what your great-granddaddy did, but it must have been very important. And a couple of days later, he called me back and laughing. He said, Charles, I hate to tell you, but it wasn't your great-granddaddy that was famous. It was his wife. I said, what'd she do? Her last name was Lanier. They named the town of Lanier, Georgia, after her. But anyway, and then that's one of my first cousins. But that's the Frogmore Yacht Club over there. It got destroyed in one of the hurricanes. And that's about it.
So 75 years of history, Charles. You've got so many stories to tell. What are some of your favorite stories that have happened here in the company's history?
Tell them about can see to can't see and what that meant to the family, the phrase, can see to can't see.
My daddy would tell you that on Saturday mornings, I'd go to Mom and Daddy's house, and I said, Daddy, how long we gonna work today? From can see to can't see. I said, Daddy, from can see to can't see? He said, yeah. From the time the sun comes up and you can see until the sun goes down and you can't see, we're gonna work. So we go work from can see to can't see.
Well, that's an amazing story. You got to love that. And that's probably how you've run your business all these years.
Oh, I can't wait to get out of here.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think that's true.
No, I do. And the reason I love it so much is because they did it.
Mom and Dad.
Yep.
Well, I know you've had your share of storms and bad weather that have come through here. I'm sure people are going to want to hear a little bit. What memories stick out there to you?
Let me see. I thought I had a picture up here. It must be back there. Anyway, when Gracie came through in '59, it put one of the shrimp boats up in the middle of the road. And myself and my daddy and one of my older brothers, we stayed through the whole thing. But that's probably about the worst thing I can remember.
I think Gracie is acknowledged as being one, if not the most severe storms that have come through South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I,
there it is, just a picture. That's my sister walking, and that's the shrimp boat in the middle of the driveway coming up here.
oh, babe.
But this is the way this is the whole family. This is myself, one of my brothers, and my brother-in-law. And then my two younger brothers own these boats. But we'd anchor up out there waiting on the tide. And Daddy didn't force us to do anything, but he wanted us to learn how to do something. So we'd always have some kind of income, even after he was gone. And I didn't understand that for a long time, but it makes plenty of sense, and I wish some more people would do that this day and time. Teach your child to work. Nothing's free. Nobody's gonna hand you anything.
Yes, sir.
You've got to work for it, and you've got to be happy working. If you're not happy working, you're not gonna do a good job. So don't try to do anything that you really don't like.
Well, I'm certain that in your business career here, you've had the opportunity to give back to the community. You know, I see the symbols of our armed services here. What are some of the great things that you've done to give back to those who've served our country?
Well, like I said, that's my son. All that's medals. He was in the Army. That's me. They'd taken those pictures, and I just thought they wanted to take a picture of our company. We were a transportation company. And a couple of years after this, the company commander come in here one day talking to me. He said, "Charles, you know why we took that picture?" I said, "No, sir, I sure don't." He said, "We had orders for Vietnam and they got canceled."
Oh,
So
it's a nice way to remember.
But now that I was in the Guard then.
And Uncle Robert too, Dad.
Yeah. And all of these guys that we all went to school together, from grammar school all the way to graduation. In fact, that's me right there.
Well, Charles, may I ask, you know, of course, fishing is the main emphasis here at Gay Fish Company. How much shrimp do y'all sell in a given year?
Oh my gosh.
How many pounds or tons?
Well, when we had 21 boats in here, we did load at least one tractor trailer every night. That's over 300 100-pound boxes. And we load them right back there.
Oh my gosh.
But then when it started to fall off, and when they started developing all of these outer islands and all that, the number of shrimp dropped off.
Mm-hmm. But everything that's sold in the store it's either caught locally or it's harvested in nearby waters. Is that correct?
In here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, in a grocery store, I couldn't guarantee you where it came from.
Oh no, sir. I mean here. Yo, that's
And they supposed to label it. If it's imported, it's supposed to be marked imported.
So what? Tell me, why do the locals come here?
Because they don't want, that dip on it.
Okay.
The preservative.
Yeah, it kills all the diseases and the germs and all that, and it makes the shrimp last a little bit longer.
Right.
But it'll also cause you to have cancer or kill you on the spot if you're allergic to it. That's why if you go put it on your shrimp, you've got to put it on the pack that it's going to be in, or tell the people that's buying it. If somebody buys them shrimp and they got a dip on them and they die, then they're in a world of trouble.
Well, just to prove the point that this is a place where the locals go, in the summer, probably the busiest season, how many people come through here on a busy day?
Oh my gosh. During the summer or this time of year?
During the summer.
Gosh,
Hundreds each day.
yeah. In the summertime, there's hundreds of people that come through. In the wintertime now, if you get 25 or 30, you've got a good day.
But now my guess is in the summer, with all these people that will come to these sea islands year over year, they probably come back every year, don't they?
A lot of them do, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is orthodox, and they got regular customers too. So
What makes the Gay Fish Company special?
I don't know. I guess it's because it's always been family owned and family ran, and a lot of the local people respect us for that. And it's a couple more small outfits that I'll send people to that I know they've been in the shrimping business just as long as we have. And if we don't have something, they'll tell you the truth. So that's
Well,
why I send them there.
Well, you've been a part of this community for so many years. Thank you for all you've done to make this part of the county a super great place, and your business is amazing. Now, I'm going to ask Cyndy. There's a whole part of the store that our viewers haven't seen, so if it's okay with you, Charles, I'm going to ask Cyndy to walk us through some of the other items in the store and to maybe tell us a little bit more of the history from her perspective.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if I can just kind of add on to the question that you just asked, Dad, about repeat customers. With me coming into the business about a year and a half ago, we've kind of kicked up our Facebook and social media presence. And we really do hear some great heartwarming stories of families that have come in year after year, and now they're bringing their grandkids here, or the grandkids are bringing their children. And so we love hearing those stories, and Dad is always happy to talk to anybody that comes around, and I'm afraid I've kind of picked up the gift of gab from him as well. So we are more than happy to talk to anybody, but that really warms our heart to know that folks come in here repeatedly, and it's a part of their core memory.
Sure.
So our social media has allowed us to kind of witness that. And I did want to mention that our other owner, we are 100% veteran owned between my dad, my brother, and then his brother Robert Gay, who was in the Army as well. And so Uncle Robert spends his time on the shrimp boats.
Wonderful.
So we do offer a military discount, so 10% to our military folks that come in. And then as far as giving back to the community, you asked about a few minutes ago, we've kind of tried to step that up a little bit recently in the past year. So we've partnered with DNR, so Department of Natural Resources, for some free fishing clinics that DNR runs. We did one in October of last year that was for women only, geared towards breast cancer awareness, and we had Beaufort Memorial Hospital come with their breast care navigator and their community outreach specialist. And so the kitchen was kind enough to donate hors d'oeuvres for us, and so the women learned how to tie knots and throw fishing lines, and they got to eat the hors d'oeuvres and hear about breast cancer awareness, and then they fished on the dock for an hour or two and were taught how to catch and release, which is optimal for our area.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. So we're continuing to do more of those community outreach events, and we'll have more of them coming as we go in the future. But you asked about the other part of the store.
Sure.
So one thing that, local is obviously important to us, because this is where we both were born and raised, and now that I'm over 50, I don't think I'm going anywhere. So we're here to stay, but we want to make sure we help others in our community. So we try to bring them into our store in different ways, but we do keep an array of spices. This is Seaside Grown. That's the local Sanders family here on St. Helena Island. You may be familiar with their story. Longtime tomato pickers. Younger generation came into the business, said, why are we plowing all these good tomatoes in at the end of the season? Let's find something else to do with them. Not trying to tell their story, but it's my understanding their Bloody Mary mix is the first thing they made with their tomatoes. And it has branched out to margarita mix. We carry their fish dust, some amazing salsa. You can find their products in most stores here in Beaufort. They are another local family doing great things. Palmetto Farms, it's a South Carolina generated grits. We carry yellow and white. Of course, we've got your seafood, your breaders, different spices. This is some of the best seafood breader. And we had a pancake mix that looks like we might be out. Really simple ingredients, easy for the folks at the campground to come pick up and use if they need to use that.
And that's at Hunting State Park.
Hunting Island State Park campground is it's probably 1.5 miles from us. So we try to keep a few things in stock for them. Now this salsa comes from Pennsylvania, if you can believe that. It's not local, cocktail sauce. But it is one of the best cocktail sauces that you will probably ever eat. And Dad asked him one day, what makes it so good? And our only guess is that they also grow their own horseradish. So it's about as simple as you can get on that recipe, I guess. But that's a very popular cocktail sauce. We keep in our little freezer here. We've got some crab cakes.
And the Amish made that recipe.
Yes,
for
it's
that.
an Amish recipe. We carry crab cakes, hush puppies. We keep lobster tails in here for anyone. There's some more batters, breaders. This company, Blackbeard Spice Company, they're out of Augusta, Georgia. So they're super nice folks. Came in here a couple of years ago, and we picked them up and added them to our spice line. They're also a popular here. Callie's Sweet Little Biscuits or Hot Little Biscuits, they're out of Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a biscuit mix, and then their honey, which is delicious. There's the pancake mix. While we're at this table, we've got a local potter. His name is Terry Watson. He lives here on St. Helena Island, and he does pottery for us and for some places in Beaufort. It's not exclusive to us. He does a great, you might want to call him a chip and dip, but we call it a shrimp and dip platter. So these are pretty popular. It's great wedding gifts. He does do some special things for us. This is a nice little bowl with the shrimp detail, and he puts our name on the bottom,
Oh, how wonderful.
which is nice. So that's a nice little gift if you want to get something for your hostess. If you're staying on Fripp or Harbor, that's a great hostess gift to carry in at a reasonable price. He makes all of these as a soap and sponge holder. We also have an assortment of his stepping stones that are out on the porch. Old Bay is always a favorite when making your Frogmore stew or low country boil. And just to kind of tap into that story quickly, my Uncle Richard Gay, if you were to Google him, you would see that he's one of the ones kind of attributed with naming Frogmore stew. I have a feeling the recipe might have been around for a little while before that. Maybe he's the one that stuck a name to it, but we always carry all the ingredients for that, including the corn and sausage in our freezer, so we can be a one-stop shop for that. We had some Christmas items in for some folks that we probably need to rotate out. Here's some more of the platters that Terry does. I do want to show you the back side of this one. So, this is a flounder, if you can tell. And one of the things that Terry does, now he was a shrimper in a previous life, so he has started recording the names or nicknames of the different shrimp holes that the local shrimpers go to. So this one is Deep Hole Creek, but you might see one that says Egg Bank, all types of different names. And he said that's just kind of his way of recording history and making it a conversation piece and kind of keeping
Oh,
the
how
story.
wonderful. What a story.
Yeah, story alive. So he's a self-taught potter, does beautiful work. We are very happy to carry the work that he does. We've got some local books in, which we're featured in several of them, but a recipe book, The Tide Runner. Prince of Tides was also filmed in the Beaufort area. We have the captain's chair from the Prince of Tides boat out in our front area if anybody wants to come see that. The remnants are along the driveway, but there's not much left to it anymore. And in fact, we're going to be partnering with Wounded Nature, which is a veteran-run volunteer organization, sometime between now and May, and they're going to come in and help clean up the shoreline with us. So
Okay.
we're very excited to be partnering with them. Local handmade towels. She makes her own stamps, so we carry that in here. We rent pots. If you go to Hunting Island State Park and you forgot to bring your pot for Frogmore stew, you can come here and grab a pot. We'll fill it up for you, take it back, cook it, and then bring us the pot back.
Y'all have really thought of everything.
We're trying. Well, when you're out this far, you either learn how to improvise and provide as much as you can for the
Yes.
folks.
Well, I see something I like in there.
Yeah, key lime pie.
Oh, yeah? Four of them.
So I've got a friend of mine. She owns Sweet Cakes Bakery. She's about one of the only wholesale bakers in the area. We've known each other for probably 15 years. And last summer she kept telling me, you need to carry key lime pies. You need to carry key lime pies. And I didn't believe her. And finally one day I was like, fine, bring me some pecans, bring me some key lime pies. Well, in the summertime, these are a huge hit. We sell probably 40 a week. So
Oh, my gosh.
just another way of helping another small female-owned business try and keep her business going as well. So this is the first batch for the season. We just got them in first week of March.
Cindy, I love that part of your and Charles's story about having other businesses come in and
Right.
be involved within your own, particularly those that are female-owned or other local businesses here.
Correct. We try, and speaking of that, I think it's notable to mention that when you see the shrimp boats here on our docks, know that we own only one of those shrimp boats. So the other 7 or 8 boats that you see are other families that live here on St. Helena or close proximity. So when you buy from us, you're not buying from Charles and Cyndy. You're buying from Charles and Cyndy and Thumper and Mako and Mikey and whoever else is shrimping. So you're Mr. Pete Pope. Pete Pope's been shrimping he's over 80 years old and he has a boat out there. 2 of the captains are over 80. So you're buying from those folks as well and providing a livelihood for them. So we think that's important to mention to everyone, that it's not just us. You're not just putting money in our pocket. We're helping everybody here. We've got one of the shrimpers' moms. She made us some Christmas ornaments. So we're carrying her handcrafted artwork in here.
Those are crab
These
shells?
are crab shells, real crab shells. Her son is a crabber, so they keep the shells from them and she cleans them. And of course, these are oyster shells. She's got frogmore on the back, which is another story in and of itself.
Well, I see some people I recognize behind that, Cindy.
These 2 folks here?
Oh yeah, it looks like Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump.
Correct.
It is.
Yeah. I was not here at the time, Dad was, but this is the 30th anniversary this year of Forrest Gump. And these are the receipts from Paramount Pictures. Well, they came and purchased all of the shrimp from us for the filming of the shrimp boat scene. So, and I'll tell you, there's a blooper in the movie that you can YouTube. They bought shrimp on 2 different occasions from here. And if you look closely at the receipts, it's actually 2 different price points, because some of the shrimp were headed, so their heads had been removed, and some shrimp still had the heads on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think they much cared. They just needed a certain amount of shrimp.
Sure.
But if you look, there's a blooper. I think you can find it on YouTube, where when they open the net and it hits the deck of the shrimp boat, they grab up a handful of shrimp, and some of them don't have any heads on them. So it's kind of a little blooper in the movie. But yes, Paramount Pictures, we sold them the shrimp for that. Of course, I'm not quite sure where the Jimmy Buffett signed picture came from, but we are happy to have that.
I'm sure there's a story behind it.
And I'm sure there is.
Maybe something to do with flip-flops that had a blowout. I don't know.
Probably. We try to keep as much interesting information in here as we can. That we were on Taste of America, Mark DeCarlos in 2005. Travel Channel. Yep. So they came and we did a filming
How about that?
out on the docks.
Very nice.
Yeah. And the more you come here, the more you'll probably notice.
And now, let me show him something real quick.
Yep.
This is my wife, that's me, that's my daughter-in-law, that's my daughter, that's my son-in-law, and that's my son, and that's their children.
So
The whole family.
it's a family business, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Kept it in the family.
Yeah. Well, now he used to, when he was a little baby, he'd ride with me on the truck hauling shrimp, but he's got his own business going now.
Oh, he's black sheep, so he's out. I'm
Well,
just
no, not
I'm
this
just
now.
I'm just kidding you. I'm just
Now,
kidding you.
He still stays interested in it.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. This is a wonderful story. And everybody's smiling too.
Yep. Well, it better.
Well, there's so much to be thankful for and proud of. I'm so happy for you. What a wonderful small business story here. Look at that, folks. 1949,
Yep, that's the first stop.
Gay Fish Company. Well, I tell you, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Cyndy and Charles, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners here?
Well, I'd just like to say Daddy and I both are here 6 days a week, and we would love to have you come visit us. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Feel free to give us a call on the phone, 843-838-2763. We'd be happy to take a pre-order and get it ready for you.
Thanks for being such a special part of the community for 75 years. Congratulations, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Now,
There's a little bit more if we're here in the story. Tell us about this calendar, Cyndy.
So we did a calendar for the first time this year. So that's my grandfather, John H. Gay Sr., on the front there holding some fish and a cigarette in his mouth, which we frown upon these days. But his nickname was Buster, so that's him. And then we reached out to our customers and said, if you have any great photos you'd like to share, please send them along. And we rewarded them with a calendar. So we got all types of submissions. We chose the winners. Some of these are old pictures, some are more recent. There's the Tide Runner. That was the boat that was in the Prince of Tides movie. Again, the remnants are up on the side of our driveway. There's not much left to it. And so we put together our first ever calendar, which I think we would like to keep.
Very nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice tradition. I hope you continue it.
Yes, yes.
Well, I've seen your shrimp boats out off the coast of Fripp Island several times. It's just iconic. Just beautiful to see it.
It is. It is. It's even more relaxing to go do.
Yeah.
It's on some days.
She